Louisville at Southern Miss. Marco, who do you like and why? And this is the St. Petersburg Bowl.
Big time.
One of the classics.
Big time stuff here. This is a situation, I actually like Louisville in this game. They come into the bowls with momentum, and a lot of times, you talk about motivation in the bowl games. Who's here? Do they want to be here? Louisville had to win the final Saturday of the season to get bowl eligible. So you definitely got that momentum. And you could say, well, maybe they're just happy to have made the bowls. But I like the way they finished the season. They were a young team in a rebuilding season. Getting to a bowl is very big for these programs because it gets them an extra month.
All right, so you make make that point.
They get an extra month of practice that they wouldn't have gotten had they not made a bowl, which is a major help for them next football season.
To me, the play-ons with bowls are the teams that are hyper-motivated, and there's a couple reasons why. One, you're in a great bowl. You're, Utah playing in the Sugar Bowl or whatever a few years ago, and it's an achievement,
right,
and you want to perform well. The second is a team in a lesser bowl that getting to that bowl is a step in the right direction. I can remember way back when my buddy was playing at Kansas State when I was in college, and right after, they were horrible 88 through 92 or whatever, but they finally made a bowl. I think it might even have been before we graduated, but he became a coach after, so he was there that whole time. They were so excited. They were 0 and whatever a couple years ago. They were in a bowl. It was a crappy bowl, but they were excited. Then you see a team like a Miami of Florida or something, they'll make a bowl, and it's like those guys are mad. They had to practice that month. Right. They're mad. They're traveling to some hick town. So to me, I really agree with you as a general college bowl handicapping tenet that you want to play a team that's motivated, and one of the key ways a team can be motivated is a team that's surging, that has a plan, and this is a springboard to next year. Now, you identify Louisville as that type of team.
I do. I like them the way they finished the season. I think they're a team that's coming from a better conference. I know the Big East gets a lot of raps. That football, they're not a strong conference, but I think they're better than Conference USA. No defense in that conference. Southern Miss scores a ton of points. They give up the points as fast as they score them.
Big East actually, that's a fallacy. A friend of pregame's, Chad Millman, who writes for ESPN, asked me to do a little research, and it should be published. We're taping on Wednesday here, so on the 14th, so it should be out soon. He said take all of the major conferences, look at their straight-up bowl record, look at their ATS for the last 5 years. Do you know the Big East in the last 5 years has over, I think they're 14 and 12. Don't quote me on that. They have over a 50% ATS record in the bowls. So they've actually been favored, I think, in 16 of 26 bowls in 5 years. So they've played a lot of these games where, they seem to get beat up in that BCS game, but a lot of these minor bowls, they're the favorite, and they've been doing well, oftentimes against teams, not necessarily in this case, that aren't from BCS conferences, and they've just been able to, do well because, I guess, the physicality. But the whole anti-Big East in the bowls is a fallacy.
But in public perception, it's not.
Which means there's value going with it.
Exactly. That's what we're here to do is find value. But in this game is just what you're talking about. You've got a team where Southern Miss scores a ton of points and they're flashy and everything else. Louisville's coming in with a worse record, but they're the favorite in the game. So, that just proves, what you're saying. In these lesser bowls, the difference in conference, I'm going to take Louisville. I like them in this game. It's not,
Give us your projection.
I got Louisville 31-27. It's right around the number, but I'm going to go ahead and take Louisville to get the job done. It's not one of our bigger bowl plays. We got some stronger ones coming up later in the podcast.
A second tenet of mine with bowl handicapping is that bowls are just a whole different animal. It's almost like March Madness. There's just nothing like it. And because of that, I like experience in bowls. I like a proven history of winning from the coaching staff, not necessarily the program. But even the program, because oftentimes when coaches change, the trainers, the operation guys, the people who's booking the travel, they stay the same. Now, not always, but oftentimes. So I look at a team like Louisville, and I think they've been in some bowl games, but they've only covered 2 of 8. So that does concern me just a little bit. And again, 2 of 8 is, the sample, but you can only play in one bowl game a year. So it's a team that hasn't done, that's 2 of 8, so it'd be 2 and 6, 2 of 8. And that's ATS. It just, I'm not so much concerned about Louisville here, just a little, but I want to get that message across to the audience, is experience in bowl games, especially a proven winning history, is huge. And it's funny because it kind of runs a little contrary to the motivation, which is, hey, the first-time teams are really excited. Yeah, they're motivated, but maybe they don't know what they're doing when it comes to a lot of these operational details. That's why handicapping is complicated. But if you can define a team that either is inexperienced in bowls or has done poorly, that's a factor in handicapping.
I can't disagree with you.
It's your turn to continue the conversation in the comment section with Marco and me. And next up, we're going to be talking about the Las Vegas Bowl. Great matchup, Utah versus Boise.